So what has Federal Highway done over the years, last 2 years where we were going through this process? Some of the things I'm going to share here with you all is some of the things that we did. Some of you might think I'm the webinar king. Well, not necessarily. I do my share of webinars once a month, every third Thursday, so for those that don't know. So one of the things that we've been doing for the last 2 years is we wanted to really create a strategic plan. And like most agencies, they have to have a strategic plan on how they're going to generate their preservation program. And we struggled with this over the years. We never had a program. And this is something that we were very excited about. And as I go through this presentation, I'll talk about our PAC teams. We have 6 of them, program and administration curriculum teams that create different research activities and other things throughout the year. And I'll talk about that. But we generated the strategic plan, we got it approved, and we moved forward with it. So we were very excited about that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Like most strategic plans, there has to be a location of what definitions are. And everybody knows, most agencies know that we have a highway preservation maintenance memos that have been done over the years. And we're in the process of updating that memo as we speak. And I know Tony, my counterpart over here, has been working really hard on that. But again, what agencies are using preservation funding for, we really want to spend some time on and provide more direction to the agencies on what that means. So with the pavement preservation definition, it's that work planned to perform and improve and sustain that condition of that transportation facility in a state of good repair. And most of you have probably seen that word before, good repair, and that really came down a lot on our pavement management systems. And so they're intertwined. But we also want to keep in mind, we want to keep our good roads good, on the right road and right treatment, but we also want to keep these good roads good and do what we can to make a benefit there. In addition, here are some linkages of our Federal Highway Strategic Plan and where it incorporates pavement preservation. As you can see here in this 2019 to 2022 strategic plan, it states that FHWA will continue to raise the awareness, proven strategies, such as performance-based practical design, and the use of preservation techniques to cost-effectively extend that service life of transportation assets that could further improve the investment decision-making. And if you really want no further information about the strategic plan, there's a website on the bottom you can go to for further information. So again, we never had that before. And now with this being part of our strategic plan, what are the roles? Additional funding for agencies to use money with the policy and the leadership toward effective application of these pavement preservation treatments. In addition, to demonstrate the economic, social, and environmental benefits for these preservation treatments, because they do have an economical benefit. And then lastly, to conduct and sponsor research. With our Turner Fairbanks, with Morgan Kessler, we provide a lot of opportunities to research these activities. And this last year, we just completed a research proposal on the use of RAP in preservation treatments. That was one, and again, we got approved for an additional phase of this, the second part of this, to do RAP this next go around, to go further to provide this information for agencies. So stay tuned. And then along with that, I just want to mention a few things here. A lot of this Sharp 2 solutions David Peshkin worked on, there's a lot of valuable, useful information in there. You get a chance, do a Google search for Sharp R26 or go on our pavement website at the end of my presentation. You can get further information on that. They provided videos, some just great, useful information I thought would be useful. Who was our stakeholders? Everybody has stakeholders, right? Well, first and foremost, it's our AASHTO representatives as well our state agencies and our local agencies. Not to mention the emulsion task force groups and our TSP2 members. We've been always a part of it, and we always want to keep this partnership active and moving forward. Then we have our industry organizations, ACPA, EMA, ERA, ISSA. We have all these, IGGA, ISSA. We have all these partners, and not last but not least, PPRA that I've been working with on a monthly basis for these webinars. Lastly, academic organizations. Can't say enough here that we have the National Center of Pavement Preservation, we have the California Pavement Preservation Center, and then we have our concrete folks with the National Concrete Technology Center. All play a major role as we move this out. Along with those industry and agencies, we also have to have a group that gets together on a yearly basis to talk about challenges as well as observations they would like to see to assist Federal Highway moving forward. And we created this technical feedback group. It consists of 20 members. We have Thomas Van as well as Tony Neves in charge of this. They meet twice a year. They talk about these things and they work out some of these issues. Over the last 2 years of COVID, it's been kind of hard to have them in person. So we've had some virtually, but again, we do what we can, but we're really looking forward to having an upcoming meeting coming up here in April. In addition, I want to talk about opportunities for preservation to expand the knowledge and the experiences. I know we're all getting tired of webinars, but again, you know, every month it amazes me. I have over 250 people participate and enjoy these webinars that we do every month. So it's getting out there. It may not get out to everybody, but it's getting out there and it's helping them. So that's great. We also want to demonstrate the benefits. You know, we don't say enough. We all know the pavement preservation treatments that fail, but we don't talk enough about the preservation treatments that work really well. And that's the thing that we need to get on the same board and all talk the same language when it comes to that. Then we want to also encourage agencies to become more pavement preservation oriented. We're seeing with more of the TAMPs, we're seeing agencies putting that information into them, so that's very important. And then lastly, foster collaboration and cooperation amongst our stakeholders and partners. Furthermore, on strategic elements, we have a mission for our preservation program. It's to preserve our nation's valuable highway infrastructure by keeping our good roads good and by using cost-effective pavement preservation treatments. The objective is to help agencies strategically consider and implement pavement preservation in a data-driven and systematic manner to optimize pavement performance. So you're going to say, well, that sounds very similar to what pavement management system is. That's correct. We got to use our management systems to collect this information. Furthermore, our first strategy is to explore and disseminate pavement preservation fundamentals. We have our checklists. Our checklists have been out there for years and years and years. We've updated them. They're on our website. But then we also have some additional things. Back in the early 90s, when people remember Jim Sorensen, we went out and put out a survey of agencies when it came to pavement preservation. It's been almost 20 some years since we've really gone out there and did a really thorough evaluation of what preservation is to agencies. So that was on the first thing is conduct a benchmark study. And David Peshkin is running that, and we really look forward to the information that comes out of that. It's going to evaluate the impacts of the current programs which certain agencies already have. Also, look at the standard matrices to quantify what those pavement preservation treatments are. So we're really excited what's going to come out of that. And then lastly, identified some gaps in decision-making practices. Also, one last thing. Then comes the increased pavement preservation understanding. Our webinars that we have every month, publish education and reference material. Tony Neves has a marketing contractor now that's working on communication and marketing of preservation things. So we're hoping that's really going to help with this process. And then lastly, facilitate and educate and training. That's been some of the things that I've been doing across the country, helping agencies with pavement preservation. The next, strategy 2, encourage effective pavement preservation programs. Develop and deploy pavement tools. What are out there? What are useful? What do state agencies need to have, as well as local agencies? Provide construction inspection training. We're in the process of developing an NHI course when it comes to design and inspection. So be on the lookout for. I know there's agencies that have already that type of training, but we've been getting a big request from our HOW peer exchanges that we needed more on that. So we're going to try to move on that effort. And then identify pavement preservation considerations during pavement design activities. What more do we need to do under designers on the projects? How are we going to collaborate them with those that are in the field and the construction on constructability reviews? How are we going to work those together to have a better understanding? And then lastly, integrate performance management and asset management. Again, something that we're going to have to do. We do it on a rehabilitation. Why are we not doing it on our preservations? And then lastly, leveraging industry and other stakeholders' resources, certification programs. We're all there, Bozid. We think it is very important, but there's only so much we can do on the federal highway side when it comes to certification. But we can endorse it. We also can partner on project showcases. Again, strategy 3, facilitate strategic pavement preservation research and implementation efforts. Here again is the flyer that comes out for all the different webinars. They're recorded. It gives an opportunity. We finally were able to complete our roadway research map. How about that? I'm not getting a shout over here in this corner yet, but Judith has been very helpful with this process, and I know there's been times when she was frustrated, but we finally got it approved, and we were very happy with it. So it gives us and provides us the research things for preservation. And we appreciate all the support, Judith, you had with that. And then we're also looking at developing fact sheets and research reports on things on these preservation treatments that could be useful for agencies. Lastly, implement coordination preservation programs, have a more of a communication and marketing plan. I talked about that already. Engage stakeholders through federal highway participation and sponsorships, just other things that we can do to engage folks. In our strategic plan, this is how we go about measuring our outcomes, what we give to our leadership. The first one, explore and disseminate fundamentals of pavement preservation. Here's what we're using our benchmark study to help with that, as well as developing those matrices definitions. The second one, encourage effective pavement preservation programs. Lead transportation pooled fund study to demonstrate integration systems approach in pavement preservation. And I'll talk about that in a couple more slides. And then lastly, facilitate strategic pavement preservation research implementation efforts. Things that our Turner Fairbanks office can do for agencies. So our next steps, well, we completed our strategic plan. Now we also want to update it accordingly on an every year basis. Some things that we have done, we improved on. Maybe there's other things that come about. We need to do that, as well as continue to carry out activities to implement the plan. One of the things I talked about, demonstration projects. This is something new, and we know that NCHRP, we also know that through NCAD and other programs, MinRoads are doing a lot of different tests. We were fortunate to get some funding this next year to start this program up for this pooled fund by looking at data needs to capture performance on pavement preservation treatments. This is going to be an opportunity for state agencies to actually have projects in their backyard, provide funding assistance, as well as providing Turner Fairbanks to come out there and do some recording, measurements, data collections for those state agencies. If the state agencies want to go out there and use their own equipment, that's fine, but this is going to be an opportunity for agencies to participate. And again, it's going to unify the strategies, addressing implementation efforts, develop construction practices. We know there's a lot of other efforts out there, but what we want to do is we want to collaborate all those into these demonstration projects. And again, here's kind of the logo with sustainability in the middle and the 6 different PAC teams. And on the top left is the pavement preservation, which I lead. And I'm very fortunate to have Tony and Thomas from our headquarters office and Morgan Kessler for Turner Fairbanks to help on these initiatives as we choose them on a yearly basis. I'm going to be here for the next 2 or 3 days. If your state agency would be interested in participating in this, please let me know. We also have already had a couple interviews on states that would like to lead this effort. If your state would be interested in leading it, please let me know as well. Again, here's the program contracts. There's not just one person. Each one of them play an important role in moving this preservation program out in our headquarters office. We got Thomas and Antonio, there's their names, Research Morgan, and myself at the Resource Center. And lastly, We worked long and hard on this preservation website for information, and hopefully if you get a chance, check it out, look at it. A lot of useful information that we've collaborated to provide to you all. So I leave it at that. I want to thank you for the opportunity, and feel free to reach out to me this week. I'll be here if you have any questions. Thank you.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.